This thing working? Okay. Hey, YouTube. I don't know. Well, first off, Happy New Year, and second, I guess I should just say what's going on. I'm honestly been at sorts since the new year started, or really since Christmas. Like depression hit me incredibly hard for many reasons. And generally at first I was okay until the new year actually started, and I was hit with so many different things that I just couldn't exactly function. And that was like I've been pretty much at the point where I could do some work, but I can't really put my whole heart into it. But I sat there and thought to myself like it's okay, I'll bounce back like I normally do, because and thought to myself like it's okay, I'll bounce back like I normally do, because that's generally what happens. Oh, this time I got hit so hard that I was barely able to actually get any work done. Even though it looks like it on the channel, like nothing's really changed. Yeah, a lot of stuff hit me. Uh, where do I start? Because it's honestly all connected in one way or another, and there's parts that I don't really feel like talking about, and then there's parts that, well, it's really more that I feel afraid to talk about for many reasons. And then there's things where I should just talk about it. Because one, the world kind of sucks, and it's all selfish and everything. It's caused me to act differently. So, where to start? First off, I oh this like yeah, I should just rip the band-aid off and talk about it. The first thing is, I for years of my life, for a good portion of my life, I would say a third of it at this point, until recently, I was with Jehovah's Witnesses for quite a long time, and just studying, and just studying under them. Yeah, it affected some of the things I did on YouTube, but it didn't completely affect them. Like, I mean, you guys probably noticed at a point where I was saying like, okay, I'm not gonna play any M-rated games, whatsoever. Like, I put that out there, and I've said some things to some people that a lot of people just didn't like. But I generally try to keep that on tame and on the down low. But as the recent years came up, things just started getting really heavy on me, at least in terms of my relationship with them. For one of the big things that triggered was that a lot of people there were distancing themselves from me, mainly because I work on YouTube. Like, it was a lot of it was because I worked on YouTube, and because I worked on, because I play video games a lot. And there's probably a bunch of other reasons, but they didn't say, but it wasn't completely obvious. But basically, I would say to them, they go like, "Oh, hey, what do you do for work and whatnot?" And I said like, "Oh, well, I'm a content creator on YouTube." It's like, "Oh, well, what's that?" Like, "Well, I make videos on YouTube, and I get paid through ad revenue." And then they just go, "Oh, okay." And they never speak to me. And essentially, it's not like they never speak to me again. It's one of those like, "Oh, okay, I gotta go. Bye." Type of deals. Like, like they're being friendly, but they don't want to like associate. I did feel a bit isolated there. At the same time, what was going on was that I started to notice that I was being treated more like a robot there. emotions I was feeling, being lonely and whatnot, it didn't matter to anybody there. It just felt, oof, like it felt like it felt like I didn't, like I was only there just to be a robot. Everyone's like, oh, like you do such a good job and whatnot, and essentially what a lot of stuff that kept me there was scare stories of like, oh well, you're going to die if like you leave or you disobey and such things. So there was a lot of pressure, and it got to the point, and I would say on part with the pandemic that that happened. I just on part with the pandemic, I just decided like I need some distance. I need some time to think to myself, and just figure what out and just try to figure out where I want to go because I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't moving any. I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't progressing with my life, and I just and I needed to explore what else is out there. Because as far as I knew, everything that was out there was just like, how do I? I've tried to describe it as many times. It's just basically like I trapped myself behind 30-foot walls that I can't see past, and and I don't know what's out there. Like I've been told what's out there, and it's like, oh well, if you go out there, it's dangerous. You shouldn't go. But I felt like I needed to see for myself, and I've honestly been trying to do that by exploring different things. It's still painful. So I decided to like just put myself like separate myself from them and that was that was a painful thing for me to do. I mean, it was incredibly painful for me to do because I was just like at first I didn't feel anything because I was just like, okay, well, as long as whatever. But then they started coming to my door asking about me, and it hit me it felt like PTSD. Like I guess that's what PTSD feels like because I had this emotional breakdown every time they showed up at the door. Or like whether it was a mix of fear, mix of regret, loathing, everything. I was just like, oh no, they're here. I froze. I literally froze in place when they showed up at the door. And I was just like I can't go I can't face them. I don't want to face them. I just need time. I need something like I'm just sitting there like crying for help because they're at the door and I'm just like, am I gonna get dragged back there or something? I don't know. I'm scared. That's how bad it was. And eventually they eventually stopped showing up. But yeah, I figured to myself like I can't stay here. I can't stay here where I am because I need to move. Like I need to move out because if I don't, it's going to happen again, and it might be worse this time. Like it might just be worse this time to where I just absolutely lose. Oh, like you have. I could tell you. I could tell you in pure detail everything, but that's more or less the short version of it. Of that bit. The second thing that's been going on is that a lot of like I still have a very hard time moving on from the death of various family members because the way it happened and the way things played out really bothers me. It bothers me more than other people. It bothers me more than other people have let it bother me in terms of the family. Like a lot of people in the family are just like, yeah, it I mean, I know that, like, I know they care. You're just like, yeah, it. I mean, I know that, like, I know they care, but at the same time, I look at it and it's just like, yeah, we know, but you know what? We gotta keep, like, we gotta move on. I'm sitting there like, a lot of this is unfair. Like, a lot of this is unfair, and there's a whole, and the way certain things are being treated is just wow. Like a lot, because a lot of people are, because there was a lot of people that were there was a lot of people that essentially were like, oh well, we're having a party, or hey, I get to have this inheritance, like hey, I get to have this inheritance, or oh, I want my portion of my money. And I just think to myself, like, there's more to my, like, is that all you think to my grandfather's death? Like, what the heck? Like, what the heck is wrong with you? And I thought the same thing with my uncle's death, who died the year before my grandfather did. Oh, so that so that hit me hard. So that hit me hard, especially because like the time he died was literally like his time of death was literally like Christmas Eve. So that and my uncle died in like February. Like he died in February the year before. So like that's a lot. Like that's a lot for me to take in and just like try and push on. Uh, okay, what else was there? I think the biggest bombshell that hit me in the recent 2 weeks so far, 2 weeks since this month has started, is just essentially being hit with pay a lot more in rent and stuff because things are like because I like we're making a change. My mom just dropped on me like, "Hey, I'm like, hey, we're moving, or I'm moving, and you need to make a decision whether or not you want to stay, like whether or not you want to stay here or you want to like go with me or I don't know. Like you need to make your own choice." And I'm just sitting there like I had like, it hit me like a huge bombshell because I already had plans lined up, and I found out that every single one of those plans have essentially fallen through. Like, just about pretty much every single one of those plans have fallen through because I was planning to go back to school because I found because they're like, oh well, hey, you want to go? They're like, oh well, hey, you want to go? Because there was classes being offered for free. There was classes essentially being offered for free, and they're like, oh, and I called up for information about it, and they told me like, oh yeah, you have to go to you have to pretty much go to the other side of Atlanta on more or less a daily basis to get these classes. And I went, oh, I can't do that. There's no way I can travel that. For one, I don't have a car, which is the only reason why I decided to take these classes so I could get so I can get like a better job and not fall on YouTube to pay for everything. Uh, so that bit hit me. So that bit hit me hard. Like I was like, I'm gonna get my life together. I gotta like, and this shouldn't take me too long because I'll be able to like, because the classes were supposed to be like 9 months. It's supposed to be like a 9 month course, and I was like, oh hey, yeah, I could do that. And it was like it'll help me get out of depression. I can get my life back together. I can move on. And I got hit with that. It was just and when I so I went and asked like, okay, well, how much is rent going to be? Like, how much is rent and stuff going to be if like, well, for whatever? And I got told like, okay, like you need to make like 600 to 700 a month. And I was like, I looked and I said, I make nowhere near that at the moment. Like like especially since I literally only get paid through YouTube ad revenue. I haven't done anything in terms of I haven't done anything in terms of streaming. Not in the not in the recent years. I haven't done any of those. I haven't done any of those like ad placements or whatever. Or where people are promoting ads for people are promoting ads for like stuff like NordVPN and all that. I haven't done any of that. I thought of doing that, but then I also felt my heart wasn't in it because I I don't like the because any of those products I don't necessarily like. Like I don't necessarily like those products. I don't like Raid Shadow Legends, and I would feel bad. I would feel bad promoting that. I don't like NordVPN, and I would feel horrible promoting that. I just went like, there's no way I was like, there's no way I could legitimately promote something I don't like and get. I just went like, there's no way I was like, there's no way I could legitimately promote something I don't like and get paid for it. Like my heart wouldn't be in it. I would just be like, oh hey, this video is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. It's a free to play mobile game where you do all this stuff. So I thought so I just decided to skip that and just try and move on. But now having this thrown onto my lap with very little prior notice, I I've been so depressed that I've been incredibly depressed to where I just couldn't really function for today. Like my sleep schedule's way out of whack. I've been I've been up at strange hours of the day. Like my normal sleep schedule would be I would be in bed normally around 12, like about 1, 2-ish in the morning, like 12 to 2 in the morning. I would normally go to bed. And then I end up getting up at about like maybe 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. And now I was like, I think the last time I went to bed, it was about 11 a.m. and I wake up, it's like 4 in the afternoon. And I'm just going, and I'm like, I'm just at sorts. I have a very hard time recording. It's pretty much like when I start recording now, I'm just like I throw on a mask and I'm like, okay, hey, let's get this video going. And I was like, and whether or not people are viewing my videos for whatever reason, like I just look at the view count, I'm just like, crap, it's falling. And YouTube's like, oh, hey, we're making policy changes to how YouTube works and stuff. And that doesn't help either. Like that doesn't help either because I've seen various content ID claims fly up for indie games that I enjoy. I think the most recent ones that ended up getting were for Coffee Talk. And it's like, hey, you have music from this company, we're going to claim it, and you get like no share of the revenue. So I sit there and go like, wait, no, like this is all fair. And I sat there and disputed those, and it turns out like, oh well, those were likely false claims because they didn't fight back, they didn't deny it or anything. So I'm sitting there on one of my favorite playthroughs, just watching that, like, crap. Well, I'm not getting any revenue until this clears out, and even if it clears out, nobody watches. Like, well, nobody's really watching, and I don't know how the algorithm is working. I never know how the algorithm is working in terms of YouTube. I don't get help in that regard. I've heard so many things about like supposed changes in the YouTube, like in terms of how YouTube runs things, where they're marking you for swearing even more now, and the way people are talking about it, I say like, well, that's actually the way people are talking about it. I say like, well, that's actually been going on for years. Like that's actually been going on for years. That was in place like way back in 2019. Like that was actually way back in place in 2019, and like I've seen it. Like I've seen it because I saw bigger channels talk about it where they weren't allowed to swear or anything during a video. Like they weren't allowed to swear or anything during a video, and it's like, oh yeah, like we can't swear anymore. And then it turns out like, oh, like we can't swear during this allotted time during the video, and we're allowed to swear like after like a minute and a half or something like that. And I'm like, that's been, and I looked at it as like, that's been in place for years. Like, that's been here since 2019. I was like, and the way I look at it is like, okay, well, YouTube put it in place, and now YouTube is actually looking to enforce it. So anyway, as I said, I've been at sorts and just trying to figure things out. I I honestly have been looking to move out of here, and I guess now's a good time as any, but I'm not ready to do that yet. Like I'm not ready. I'm not ready like financially to do that just yet. Not like to get out there and do that like right just yet. I need, because to me I feel like I need something to fall back on in case something goes wrong. Like in case something goes wrong or whatever. So I've been in a panic state, and it's been between panic, anger, and absolute depression as to me functioning properly. I'm surprised I'm still able to get videos done, but it's at a very sluggish pace, and it's getting to the point where my what I call backup videos are starting to run dry. Which those are videos that I have essentially never released, but I'm like, okay, like in case I'm not here, I can do like in case I'm not here, like in case I just don't have anything ready, I can just push this out there. That's like those are drying up. And that actually that actually adds to another problem that I've had is I recently changed phones, and now my iPhone stopped working. Oh, that one was icing on the cake for me because I was just ready to chuck that iPhone into the wall when it stopped working. Because essentially what happened is that my mom handed me her iPhone, so like, here, you use this. Like, your phone is way too old. Which, yeah, the phone I had is way too old. Like, that phone is like from way back in like 2011 or so. Like, the phone I had is like from 2011 or so. I don't even know what kind it is. I just know it was an Android. She handed me her iPhone, so I ended up switching to her iPhone while she switched to something else. I like after clearing out all her stuff, like I did a factory. Okay, now that that's done, let me update this properly. I tried to add my own ringtone to it, which it turns out I have to like add music through iTunes and then set it that way. iTunes went, okay, hey, your phone needs to update. So hey, your phone needs to update. Like click here to update your iPhone. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. I started updating, and then next thing I know, the iPhone just freezes up. Like it freezes up. It's like, oh, we don't know. You need to restore your iPhone to like its factory resets. And I'm like, okay, well, let me do that. That didn't work. It's stuck on that screen now. And I sit there and I sit there and look at iTunes, which is like the only way it can update. And iTunes is like, error 2003 yeah error 2003 yeah your phone sucks, like your iPhone sucks, you need to like restore it, like factory restore it. Like, okay, well, let me do that. And it was like, then iTunes like, I don't know, error 5. And the funny thing is, I look up error 5, and oh, I was like, I just hate, like, I absolutely hate Apple at the moment. And I was like, it basically, error 5, if I remember looking this up exactly, it basically says that, it's basically saying that I'm not using a genuine iPhone cable. I'm not using a genuine iPhone cable, and thus, because I'm not using a genuine iPhone cable, the update can't work. The update will refuse to work. So I'm sitting there like, what? Like, so basically, you're wanting me to pay. So now, keep in mind, like, this phone came from my mom, and she gave me everything that it came with. The cord that, like, the actual cord that can connect to a computer. The actual USB that came with it doesn't connect to a PC. It only connects to a power cable. And the one that she bought, that is the USB that she bought that is able to connect to a PC, is clearly a third party. But I was in there like, this is ridiculous. Like, I can't fix the iPhone because, like, I can't, like, factory reset my iPhone because of a stupid USB thing. Then just started, like, I just started going, like, on a downhill spiral. And I'm like, you know what? Like, no, just push the phone away before you throw it. Just push it over to the side before you throw it to the wall and break it for real. And tackle this some other time. Like, just tackle this problem some other time. That's how bad it is. And this, oh, and my mom essentially, she yelled at me, like saying, like, I just gave you that iPhone, like, and you broke it already. Like, I could hear her over the phone, like, just yelling that, and I'm like, it's not my fault this happened. Like, it's not my fault this happened. Like, it's no one's fault. Yelling that, and I'm like, it's not my fault this happened. Like, it's not my fault this happened. Like, it's no one's fault this happened. This just happened. And trying to get in contact with Apple directly, they're like, oh, hey, we need your iCloud data. Like, we need your iCloud, like, username and data so we can help you. What is the phone number tied to the device? What is the phone number tied to the device? So we can send you a text message that gets for a code so you can log in and we could properly help you. And I'm like, I can't get access to that phone that's tied there because the phone in question is broken. Oh, so yeah, things that, like, I want to say it's a rough start to. It's a very rough start to a new panic mode, and I'm trying to figure out proper solutions to it. I'm trying to figure out proper solutions to it so I can at least survive. The move is likely going to be about February, maybe. I don't know if I'm even because I can't afford to stay with my sister at the moment. I mean, unless I can personally make like $600 or something a month, which I don't even feel that confident in. And at the same time, I feel like getting a job here is just there, like, this PTSD with me of Jehovah's Witnesses. I feel like that will trigger because there's a lot of people I know that are essentially through witnesses, frequent stores everywhere, that frequent all the stores that I thought of, like, you know what, I could just go there for shopping. And heck, I don't even know if I'll get paid enough to work there. Like, I don't even know if I'll get paid enough. So I figured, and I thought to myself, like, even if I do get a job, I'll end up seeing them, and my mind will just go crazy. So I figured, I'll just move with mom, who's moving to a different area, and I won't have to see them. Like, I won't have to see them, and my mind can at least be free of that. Oh. And I don't know how much she's gonna ask of me, but I know like it's gonna be a lot more than what I've been paying. So I'm trying to get my act, trying to get everything together. I am everything together. I am in a panic mode. I thought of streaming again. And even that on my mind is just like, can I really just go back to streaming? Like, can I really just go back to doing streaming like I used to? What was it, like well over a decade ago or so? Which, it's not saying that it's not fun. It's just I don't really. When it came to YouTube and Twitch and stuff, I never really was that type of person to go like, hey, I want, like, no, excuse me. One time, there was one time where I was just like, hey, I need money. Can you guys help me out? That was only one time. Oh, offhand. There may be more, but I look at it like, I go back and I'm just like, can I really adapt this mindset where I do things for content? Which the people I watch, I'm like, I'm nothing like those people. I'm nothing like those people. Especially the ones that will, how to say it, throw for content. That essentially like throw for content. They're like, oh well, hey, I'm a master of this thing. Oh, watch me. Oh, oops, I suck at this game. And then suddenly they get like $50. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know. And I'm just, like, my mind is flying all over the place. I need to end on something positive. I need to. Like, I can't sit here thinking about everything. Um something positive. Cuz I got to focus on something positive. Otherwise, I'm not going to get out of this depressive slump. Oh. Um I'm happy that a lot of people enjoy Tokyo After School Summoners, the Tokyo After School Summoners videos. I didn't think people would enjoy it. When I first put it out, when I first just put videos up there, I didn't expect the amount of views I got for it, which that's a lot of views in a long time. It still hasn't matched Sonic Adventure, but I think that's YouTube algorithm or whatever. But that everything that a lot of people like flocked in to view it, because I personally thought like people were gonna comment like, oh, it's this game, ooh, I hate, like, oh, he's playing this, and I would just instantly stop making videos right then and there. But yeah, I looked at the view count and I've seen some of the comments for it, and I'm just going like, wow, like, this is better than I originally thought it was going to be. Because I do enjoy the game. There are things that I don't enjoy about it. Like, there's certain things. But I do enjoy like reading that visual novel. And I'm glad that there are other people out there that do as well. So yeah, that's something positive. Anyway, it's about 11 o'clock at night right now. It's about 11 o'clock at night right now. I have to try and get something done video wise for the next few weeks. I don't know what. I'm still distraught and just looking, and I'm just like looking for an out and trying to make sure that that this is the right thing to do. I did get an offer. I did get an offer to like stay with somebody, but his offer, like that person's offer was like a year or so down the line, and I'm like, okay, well, I need something. Like, if I'm to do that, I need something where I can survive. Like, I need something where I can survive for the time being. I can definitely fall back on myself when that happens. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Sorry for such a rather melancholy update. Maybe I'll talk about like me and my life and witnesses and other things some other time. I don't know. I still feel like, maybe in more detail, I still feel reluctant to talk about it for many reasons. But yeah,